And this is the real spiel. Small business, big gains. Small business, big gains. It ain't gonna happen for you without the addition of a small business. Holler at all of the Cyclopses that are in the building. Earth, Wind, Spirit, Fire, Adi Al-Katani, the Spice Man. What's going on? Yvonne Gentles. Adonai Skincare, haven't heard from you in a while. Herman Rome, my main man. Got your situation in Chicago organized. You're going to get an email from me today. And Black Panther X, Miss Ann, Muriel Odette, and all of the members and subscribers. It's really great to hear from everybody and see everybody. I read all the comments after. I try to comment on some things. You guys are funny too. I appreciate a lot of the commentary that I hear and see. So don't think that your comments are going unlistened to or unvetted. I absolutely go through them and take a look at them. And some of the comedians make me holler. Good to see Yvonne Gentles, the evangelist, in the building. Big up to her too. So listen, this is what I wanted to talk about today. I was having some conversations with a lot of my, not a lot, that's not true. I was having a conversation with a few brothers, and we've come to the conclusion in Canada, and I don't think that the Canadian conclusion is just specific to Canada. I think it's a global conclusion, and if not a North American conclusion, in respect to especially black men. And why I can target black men about this, because I think black women do this better than we do. Again, I did put my do not disturb on, and I don't like, I'm a little shiny. So I think black women do this better than we do it, and it's small business. And regardless of, and I'm a very educated guy. I have a lot of education, right? And I've tried both routes, of course. I've tried the route of working the small business. I've tried the route of simple employment, and employment even with backup employment. What I've identified as my best moments of personal wealth in my life, and what I'm here to discuss with you, is that the combination of a 9-to-5 with a side hustle small business is the truest way to push past a normal level of wealth. When I say normal level, and I'm talking about a person operating as an individual. Of course, when you combine resources and you work as a team, as a couple, I spoke about this yesterday. Unfortunately, that is not the reality of many of us in our community. Even if we are working as a team for a period of time, the teamwork falls apart. It would even be interesting to see how many people are able to break up romantically and stay working professionally. But so I'm speaking to the individual working as a single person, as a person without the cooperative help, and especially black men, because and men in general, but black men specifically because of the lack of access we have in North America. But this can apply to men in general because of the great responsibility on men when it comes to the family, and especially even broken families. Your responsibility still remains still harsh to many of you. If you're doing well, if you have property, if you have a great job, the responsibility becomes extremely draconian. So let me break this down. You have to be in a position, and I'll say the simple, and I'll get it to the extreme. Do that. Maybe we won't hear it. I'm going to get it to the extreme. The extreme is this: that basically every one of us has something on the inside of us that we can do better than 70% of the people. We've got a good idea, meaning a service providing idea that you could actually bring to the marketplace and do well with. And let me break it down. Like, you might be able to cook something really well. I'm a pretty good cook. Like, I'm a pretty good cook. I could put some stuff together, right? You might be able to be a guy who simply provides meal plans for people who are in shape, right? You might be able to be that guy. I can do all your meal preps for you. I can look up the calories. I can make sure that because you can cook. You might be an individual who you keep yourself in shape. You might be able to say, you know what, I might be a pretty decent personal trainer. You might not want to go get, Amala, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. You might not be able to go get all the qualifications and certifications right away, but you could set up a boot camp in the park, right? You could be an individual who is great with kids. You could set up some type of respite program where you're assisting in that. There is something that you can do right now. You might be a woman who can sew, or an artist, right? You might be somebody who writes great poetry. You might want to put those things in short books and upload those as children's books. You might be an individual who can combine with an illustrator. Say, I write the books, you draw the pictures, let's do it together, let's collab. If you want to go far, go together, right? As the old African proverb says, right? You want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So the point is, there is something you can do. There is something you can do better than 70% of the people out there. I don't care how old you are. There's something you can do. There's something you can teach. If it's just a teaching scenario where you're simply saying, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to teach. I want to offer my services as a teacher. I can teach this particular thing, whether it's teaching the Bible, whether it's teaching ethics, whether it's having conversations about the social status of the millennial, whatever it is. Let me tell you something. Not only can you do it, but there's a market for what you can do. Your 9 to 5, your 9 to 5 is a job. Your talent is your work, which could retire your work. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that, Yvonne. It's very insightful. Absolutely. And this is the key, though. This is the key to that secondary job. You have to be in a position where you can start it, establish it, and then replace yourself in it while it still runs. Right? You can set it up, get it established, get the culture of it correct, get people moving in the right direction regarding it, right mindset behind it, and then you have to be in a position to slowly replace yourself. You've got to create disciples, right? A disciple is a duplicate of you, an individual that when they meet them, they've met you too. And once you can put those two things together, and don't get me wrong, your 9 to 5 is important for two specific reasons if you have a 9 to 5 like this, right? And 3 reasons. Your 9 to 5 is important. The third reason is because it's extra money. It's also important if you have a 9 to 5 that affords you some type of benefits, whether it be medical or otherwise. You need those medicals, especially if you're getting older and if you got kids. And the third thing is a pension. Those 9 to 5s, you put in your time, you put in your 20 years or whatever, sometimes you come out there with a decent little pension that you can do something with. It's wealth into your elderly years. Again, wealth doesn't need you to work. And so I'm just going from my own experience. The combo package of a 9 to 5 with independent business. Let me tell you why. When I left my 9 to 5 completely, which at the time was policing, and dived completely into the social spheres of what I was doing, there were gaps. I had financial gaps that were popping up, and not just financial gaps, benefit gaps. Like my 9 to 5 covered certain liabilities that if I stuck with it, those liabilities might have been dealt with. My My 9 to 5, of course, afforded me a benefit package and a level of prestige because of what I was doing. So, although I hated, I didn't want to be there. Amala, yeah, it's been too long. You're too far. You're too far away. You're too far away. Although I didn't want to be there, I'm seeing now that, for example, some of my friends who started the police force with me, they're retiring this year, right? They're retiring this year. They're retiring. They're full retirement. They're getting a full pension, $80,000 plus benefits. Some of them are going to acquire, which is good when you're not doing nothing, right? So I think the demographic of black men that are basically struggling with poverty, and I won't call it poverty, because poverty really is the inability to have access to resources, but are struggling with being the working poor. I'll call you that. Men who struggle every day to deal with their own circumstances. Very difficult for them to reach out and do all the things that black women are requesting. Not just black women, but women all over. And men, and some of them deserve. I'm not saying. I truly believe that if you've got a good woman in your life, you should be able to do more for her and take care of her. Like, it is the pleasure of a man. It is the pleasure of a man to do something over and above for a woman. And it is the disappointment of a man to not be able to take care of a woman's needs in areas of any area she needs when it's your woman. It's one of the biggest disappointments you will ever suffer in life, is the inability to be a help to your woman, right? I mean, you can lose a woman over that. You can lose a woman, or you can lose a good woman because simply another guy can do more for her. Now, some of y'all would agree disagree whether or not that's a good woman, but if that man wants that woman, that's a good woman for him. That's none of your doggone business. But the facts of the matter are that there are opportunities out there for women to switch up, go grab himself a brother who can do more for her. All right, let me tell you something, man. I don't know how many of you are up for this conversation, but ladies not gonna like this too. Women, to some extent, are possessions that have to be earned and bought and maintained. And a woman that understands the marketplace of her beauty and her assets and what she brings to the table will understand that I will only let certain economic levels of men access me. Now, some of you might say, I don't want a woman like that. That's fine, right? I understand that. But let's just say that economic exchange, transactional love culture, every woman in the world is affected by it. I don't care if she's nothing like that. She's affected by it. She's been socialized to have a man in her life that can do something for her. Doesn't matter if you're out there mowing the lawn, if you can fix stuff around the house, if you're handy. She has assigned a paternal responsibility to you as a man, and some of it will be economic. And the lower or the weaker you are in that area is the lower you are on the scale of being a man in her eyes. And there's nothing more emasculating than a man who cannot financially deal with his responsibilities. There's nothing more emasculating. Nothing more emasculating. I don't care if your wife is rich, right? You got to go to a woman every single day and ask her for gas money. Baby, is there enough money in the bank for me to do this? You're emasculated, though. To some extent, you're emasculated in her eyes. And it's just an unfortunate reality of how we've been socialized. And no conversation about gender, or no conversation about the LGBTQ or alternative lifestyle will ever change the dynamic in a relationship is that the dominant should be the provider or have something that brings to the table. The goal, though, is not what two people bring to the table. It is, can we get up from the table and build something together? All right? So you might come to the table empty. When you sit down at the table, you know, thoughts and ideas and synergies might get together, and you might get up from the table and be able to do something together. So at the end of the day, can you bring something into that person's life that allows both of you to win? And speaking independently as a man, I want to be the best version of myself all the time. I don't want to have to tell people no because I don't have it. I want to be able to say no because I don't want to do it. You know, my daughters asked me the other day, there's Beyonce tickets selling. I ain't going to Beyonce, but there's Beyonce tickets selling, and it was $350. She's performing in Toronto. $350 a ticket. They're up close. She's like, Dad, please. It was in one of our family groups with all of my cousins and whatnot. My cousins were like, I have a friend, she's selling 2 Beyonce tickets, $350. You guys want the tickets, 2 tickets. And she's like, Dad, please, can we get the Beyonce tickets? They're worth thousands and $350. All right? So I'm like, you want me to spend $700 to go see Beyonce? And it's not even $700 because I can't take you to see Beyonce and not take your sister. Are you kidding me? So it's not $700, right? That's $1,050. Right? That's $1,000 to go see Beyonce. Unfortunately, Big Daddy don't have $1,000 to go spend, just blow on Beyonce. Part of me, I don't want to see Beyonce. I didn't want to take them to see Beyonce. But part of me felt bad having to say no, even though I wasn't doing it anyway. I wanted to be in a position where I was like, you know what? I won't take it to Beyonce, but I'll take you to this person. I'll take you there. I'll take you here. I'd rather do this with you. I'd rather spend that money in this area. But, you know, I'm not really, I said to her very clearly, I don't really like the imagery of Beyonce. So I'm not really a fan of going to see Beyonce. She's like, yeah, I know. I saw some of the imagery too, Dad. Hopefully her concert here is not like that. I go, yeah, but I don't know if I can financially support that. But at the end of the day, I don't have $1,000 to go see doggone Beyonce. Right? And that cut, to some extent, even though I wasn't going anyway, the dad in me felt like a failure. It did. You're saying all the right things. You're absolutely right. Thank you very much. The dad in me felt like a failure. Felt like, you know, I really would have liked to take this little girl just to say I took her to Beyonce. She's a 16-year-old. She's going through whatever she's going through. I wanted to be that guy, right? I wanted to be able to say, all right, let me put on a disguise and take you to Beyonce just because I'm your dad. I wanted to do that, but $1,000 to go see Beyonce? Charlie, no. I don't got it like that to go blow it out. I gotta do other things with that money. But this is what I believe. Like I truly, like I did some numbers for a friend of mine. We're thinking about a business, a service business, and I did the numbers backwards. Right? I gotta go soon. So the numbers went like this: how do I make $1 million? Right? I'm gonna show you how to do this, and you're gonna figure out your life right here, right now. This is gold. Okay? How do I make $1 million a year? So what I did is I figured out what I wanted to charge per hour for the service I was providing. I divided $1 million by that amount, by that dollar figure, right? That dollar figure gave me hours, annual hours. How many hours I needed to bill to make $1 million. Then what I did is I divided those annual hours, I divided them by 12, right? And I got a monthly amount of hours, right? And then I divided those monthly amount of hours by 4, right? So I wanted to have, so how many hours did I have to bill per week? And I came down to this. In order to make $1 million at $120 an hour, I had to bill 40 hours, 40 hours a week. I had to bill 40 hours a week multiplied by 4 people. So this is what it came to. I needed 4 people to bill $120 an hour, 40 hours a week, to make $1 million a year. When I came to that conclusion, I said, I can do this. I can get 4 staff to do this. This is doable. And that's the point. Are the numbers doable? Is the plan something that can be accomplished? And once you have the numbers and you start looking at it and say, hey, my service, once you're comfortable with your number too, you have to be comfortable with your number, right? You have to say, like the $1 million a year, I know it has to be split amongst 4 individuals, but I'm comfortable with the numbers. I know 2 of those individuals will be partners, me and my main guy. I know the rest of those individuals will not be. They'll be making less. So now I have a platform, I have a financial platform to say, I need this many people to make this many hours multiplied by a particular fee. And then I go out there now and I start making my contacts. I thought it out in my brain first. I did the numbers. I tried to reach the right people. Got my team assembled. Go out there and make the contacts. That's it right there. In your mind, you can put this thing together based on what you can bring to the table financially, and what you can bring to the table, sorry, not financially, but as far as a service or as far as what you can do. All right? Anyway, that's your 20 minutes. Somebody told me it looked like I was always going, listen, I got a job. I got to go work. I see these people out here. I'm not in a rush right now. But 40 hours, 4 staff. Build 40 hours, 4 staff, $120 an hour. Build that out, that's $1 million. So that's what I did. So once you put these kind of numbers together for yourself, you'll be able to say, you know what? I can do that. My service is worth that. You might say, I'm gonna charge $50 an hour. I'm gonna charge this. You might have an escalating scale. Some people might get 120, some people might get 150, some people might get 80. As long as you can average what you can average. Second thing, and the last thing I'm gonna say, that Airbnb thing ain't bad right now. Airbnb is big. A lot of people are making money off Airbnb. What they're basically doing is they're renting their rental space. They're renting their rental space. Now, there's legalities around that. You gotta have a sublease clause and all these kind of things. But people are actually doing very well with this. You do the numbers. Especially if you're located near a local hotel. If your flat or your apartment or your condo or your house is located near a hotel, this is what you can do. You can price out what the hotel is charging as their rate. You can figure out the density of when they're actually oversaturated. You can pull your price in $50 lower, and you can Airbnb up your spot every now and then. You don't got to Airbnb it every day, right? Think about it like this. The average hotel is $200 a night, or $250. If you're charging $200, they're $250, you're charging $200, and you rent your place out for 10 days, right? That's Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. So basically weekends only, maybe 3 weekends, a couple of weekdays. That's $2,000. That's $2,000 of extra money a month. Now you got to go find a place to live for those 10 days. But for 10 days out of a 30-day month, you made $2,000 extra dollars just on Airbnb. Now you got to have a nice place, have a decent place, no cockroaches, no kind of thing like that. Got some Wi-Fi. Got to be able to put your clothes somewhere and your personal effects somewhere, lock those things up so people can't mess with your stuff. But it's doable for 10 days. And if you got a landlord who's a little frisky and looking over things, 10 days you might be able to get under the radar. But you didn't get that from me. Okay? I didn't tell you to go out there and do anything illegal. Anyway, I got to go. This is Love, Peace, and Hair Grease with Del K. Brereton. This is The Real Spiel. I'm coming back to you with more. But I appreciate you. Listen. Major goals, man. Major goals. It's a major goal moment. Don't let those moments slip. Love, peace, and here in Greece. Herman Rome. I'll be in touch with you today, brother. Bless you. Bye-bye.